In this program, you'll use a button and the serial monitor, which is a built-in part of the code editor, to print a message when the digital read of 6 is low, meaning when the button is pressed. To use the serial monitor, in the void setup function, you need to use the serial.begin function with an argument of 9600. That 9600 determines the speed at which the MakerBoard and the computer are sending information back and forth. If you change it, it may break how the computer communicates with MakerBoard, so just leave it at that value. Next, you have a pin mode function, and it has two arguments. First, the port that you're setting the pin mode for, and the pin mode that you're setting. Here, you're going to plug in a button on port 6, and you want to set that button as an input pull-up pin mode so that the code is listening for a signal from that port. Within the void loop function, you just have an if statement. The if statement has two main parts. Between the parentheses is a condition that is checked every time the if statement is run. Between the curly braces of the if statement is the code that runs if the condition is true. In this case, we're checking if the digital read of port 6 is low, and the digital read of port 6 will be low when the button is pressed down. To check if two things are equal in the code, we use two equal signs. So essentially, the condition in this if statement is asking, is the digital read of port 6 low? If that is true, the code inside the curly braces will run. And here we have the serial.println or println function. The serial.println function shows text on our serial monitor. It has one argument, that is the message that you want to show, and if that message is just text, you put it between quotation marks. So this is going to print I'm pressed every time the if statement is true. If you've done some of the previous projects, you may remember that we're often using an else statement along with an if statement. We're not doing that here because by default, the serial monitor just won't do anything if it doesn't have a command sent to it. The cool thing about this program is that it shows you how quickly an if condition can be checked when there are no delays inside the void loop. So when you upload your code, you can press the monitor button and scroll down below the code editor. There's nothing showing in the serial port monitor until you press and hold down the button on port 6. Then you'll see how quickly the message is printed out. If you release the button, the message stops printing. And if you press it again, it will print, and you can press and release and see that it's almost impossible to press the button and release it without printing at least 5 or 10 messages that say, I'm pressed.